Welcome to another yet exciting and intriguing episode of ELORM Echoes. Say what? Clack it. Alright, story. Today's story on ELORM Echoes is a scary one. And so prepare to have some goosebumps and chills run down and through your veins. Yeah. All right. So today's story is the price of a forgotten promise. And so let's get right into the story. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Share your views and opinions about how I'm doing. Are you enjoying my style of telling the story? And also, if you have some stories to share, you feel my audience and my subscribers can learn from it, you can reach out to us and we will tell the story for you. So let's get right into it. The price of a forgotten promise. In my village, we have a rule. If you hear someone calling your name from the forest after the sun has set, you don't answer. You don't even breathe. Because sometimes the voice you hear belongs to someone who has been dead for 50 years. And so my name is Yao. I'm a man of science. Or at least I thought I was. I spent 10 years in London studying electrical engineering, surrounding myself with wires, logic, and the hum of modern life. I had forgotten the stories my grandfather used to warn me about over a flickering fire in our compound back home in Ghana. When my father passed away last year, I returned to his old house to clear out his belongings. The house was a time capsule of dust and memories. I sat on the edge of the thick forest, a place where the trees seemed to lean in, eavesdropping on the living, while digging through a mahogany chest in his bedroom. I found it, a vintage Philips radio, the kind with the glowing amber dial and the heavy wooden casing. My father loved that radio. He used to say it could catch voices from the wind. I plugged it in, mostly out of nostalgia. The amber light flickering to life, casting long dusting shadows against the peeling wallpaper. There was only static at first, that dry scratching sound of empty air. Scratch, pop. I turned the dial slowly. I expected the BBC World Service or probably some high life music from a local station. Instead, I hit a frequency that felt cold. The static didn't sound like white noise anymore. It sounded like thousands of people whispering at once. Just beneath the surface of the sound, I laughed at myself. Bad reception, I muttered. But as I turned to leave the room, a voice broke through the haze. Yao, have you brought the salt? I froze. My breath hitched in my throat. It was a woman's voice, thin, melodic, and sounding as if it were coming from the bottom of a deep well. My grandmother used to ask for salt every morning before she died. I approached the radio, my heart hammering against my ribs like a trapped bird. I told myself, It was a coincidence, a cross signal, probably a prank. Who is this? I asked, feeling foolish for talking to a piece of wood and wire. The radio hummed. The amber light paused like a heartbeat. The earth is thirsty, Yao. You've been away for so long, you've forgotten how to feed it. Suddenly, the temperature in the room plummeted. I could see my breath in the dim light. I reached for the power knob to shut it off, but as my fingers touched the plastic, the radio let out a piercing shriek, a sound of pure, unadulterated grief. I pulled my hand back. The dial began to spin on its own. It zipped past 90 megahertz, 100 megahertz, spinning faster and faster until the numbers became a blur. And then the smell hit me. Not the smell of dust, but the smell of wet earth and rotten lilies. The shadows on the wall weren't moving with the light anymore. They were moving independently. One shadow, tall and distorted, began to crawl across the ceiling towards me. I backed away, tripping over my father's chest. The radio's volume surged, filling the house with the sound of a funeral dirge. Drums that felt like they were beating inside my skull. Why did you leave us? A chorus of voices hissed through the speakers. You grew tall while we were withered in the dark. You forgot the libations. You forgot the names. I realized that this wasn't a hunting. It was a depth. In my rush to become modern, to become global, I had severed the cord to the ones who came before. I had let their graves grow over with weeds. I had stopped speaking their names. The tall shadow dropped from the ceiling, landing silently in front of the radio. It had no face, just a void where features should be. It reached out a hand made of smoke. I am sorry, I screamed, closing my eyes tight. I remember my father Kofi. I remember my mother Abna. I remember the lineage of the Osai family. The screaming from the radio reached a deafening crescendo, a wall of sound that felt like it would shatter my bones. And then, absolute silence. I opened my eyes. The room was warm again. The sun was beginning to peek over the horizon through the window. The radio was dead. Not just turned off, but dead. The wooden casing was cracked down the middle, and the glass dial was shattered into 1,000 tiny diamonds. I didn't leave the house that day. Instead, I went into the village. I bought a bottle of schnapps, a bag of salt. I spent the next 3 days in the overgrown family cemetery, clearing the vines with my bare hands until my fingers bled. I spoke to the stones. I told them about London. I told them about my life. I fed the earth. I still have the radio. It doesn't work anymore though. It doesn't work anymore. And I'll never try to fix it. But sometimes, when the house is very quiet and the wind blows in from the forest, I hear a faint, distant hum. It doesn't scare me anymore. It's just a reminder. We think the past is behind us, buried in the dirt. But the truth is, the ancestors are always listening. They are just waiting for the right time or the right frequency to remind you who you really are and where you really are from. I hope you enjoyed this episode of ELORM Echoes. Do not forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed to this channel for more exciting and intriguing stories. Life experiences and stories though. Bye bye. See you in the next episode.